trying to stick to a good, solid morning routine really gets me on the right path and right note. And I think it really also helps you mentally. Like when you're mentally getting ready to dive into the workday and attack your calendar of the workday, you feel good. You feel ready to go.
What happens when Alexa reminds you to check the mole and you have no idea what she's talking about? Turns out communication matters, and even with your smart devices. And in this episode, we're talking organization, boundaries, parenthood, and all of the beautifully chaotic parts of being creative women in the mortgage industry. This is Lending Leadership. I'm Rach.
And I'm Rin. Welcome everybody. So good to see everyone, and I'm so excited to talk about this today. I don't even know what we're talking about today. So I am telling you all that. Rachel has me queued up for some surprises, so I'm in for it.
I know I wanted you to be, I always like that authentic conversation. How many times are you like, for us at least, we're prepping for a podcast and we talk about it. I'm like, nope, save it, save it. I like this to be authentic, engaging conversation. And so today we're getting real. And this is the funniest story. I have to share it with you. So this actually happened yesterday. Um, I had set a reminder on Alexa. I can't say it too loud or she'll start talking. And apparently I didn't articulate enough because, it has the little, if you have an Alexa, you know this, it goes, ba-bum, Rachel, you have a reminder. Check the mole. And then it does it again. Rachel, you have a reminder. Check the mole. And I'm like, what the heck is the mole? Like,
Isn't it a
okay,
show? Rachel, I think that's a show. The Mole
no,
is
I know. I
a
was like,
show on
I
television.
had I had zero recollection of what I was trying to be organized about and what I was trying to remind myself. So I'm like, do I have a mole that I need to check? Like, are there mice? And then I'm talking through this. And my son goes, the mole, the mole. He goes, Mom, the mold. Check the mold. And I had bought this little thing on Amazon. It's like these little petri dishes because I wanted to put it in our back room of our basement to see if there was mold. Con Congratulations, Trish family has no mold, which I'm very excited about. But the whole thing was like, if you're not communicating, even if you're being as organized as possible and you think you're doing all the right things, if you are not articulating and communicating things properly, things get lost in translation, just like the mold. And I just thought that was so funny. Like, honestly, I sat there for a while. I'm like, what the heck is the mole? And isn't that how life goes, right? Or you
Well,
think you're being super organized and you're like, "What was I trying to remind myself?" Does that ever happen to you? Or maybe it's just my crazy life?
every hour. Um, especially with, not to bring it into the spouses, but we've got to communicate with these spouses. Any of you who have school age kids, young kids, even older kids, there's still, you know, stuff with their schedules and important things that you want to be at and support them at. So, especially for our working professional mothers, which really, hits near and dear to my heart. And I know Rachel's as well.
Mhm.
It is a constant game of communication and organization and how to do it. I want to hear everybody's tips and tricks today. We all have our own systems, and it'll be fun to share systems today, Rach. But I'd like to hear what everybody else is doing because I feel like I'm always picking up on things. For example, shameless plug, Skylight Calendar, you will owe me for this. Skylight Calendar, hello. Is anyone doing this? I
No,
was
tell me.
retargeted. I was retargeted online and then I kept getting retargeted, and then there was all these, like, busy working mothers who were speaking to me on videos, and I was like this on my scroll. I was like, "What's this?" And there was color codes, guys. There was schedules, there was color codes, there was contact information, there was point systems, and my stimulation just went off the charts. ADD, I've got it. Who else has it? And, I gotta tell you, I'm ordering one and people are telling me it is life changing. It is like an iPad system basically that people keep on the wall in their kitchen or on the countertop. And it takes all of your systems Outlook, Gmail, Google, Team Snap, Game Changer if you have school age kids, anything else that you're using from a technology standpoint. And it streamlines it into a schedule, which is sitting for you in like, your hub spot of your household for yourself,
I
your
need this.
spouse, your kids, your cousins, your uncles, whomever lives with you can all look at and operate by. Amazing.
So it's like I've seen that too, but You haven't bought it yet, or you're gonna get it?
I've got it in the card and I'm reading. And I've confirmed with 2 other very busy working, ladies for all of our lady loan officers and mortgage and real estate professionals out there
Mhm.
that they love it.
I
So
feel like I really need something like this because I've got my Outlook calendar, the Gmail calendar for family stuff. Yes, the game changer, team snap, all of the team things, plays and all it's just it gets to be overwhelming and we live in this era of more connectiveness and technology than ever before. Yet I am the mother who has shown up to birthday parties as they're ending. No, true story. And then my kids are crying and they're like, "You did it again." And I'm like, "I'm sorry. I'm overloaded and overwhelmed and I'm trying my best here." And we just sometimes have those mom fails, but it's a funny story. Now, I guess the kids still like give me a look and a cringe on their face when I bring that story up, but I think I need it. I think I need So what is it called again? Skylight?
it's
Something
called
Skylight?
Skylight Calendar. So everybody look it up, Skylight Calendar.
Okay, I need
And
that.
I am hearing real life testimonials from busy working professional mothers like many of us, many of you loan officers, many real estate agents, and just business partners in our field, all kind of operating with the same challenges, the same struggles, the same obstacles that we have to overcome to feel healthy on a daily basis, make sure that we're performing super well professionally
Yeah.
at work and then also at home. So it's a lot and we need all the tools we can get, right?
I know, I really love that. If anyone's using that, can you please comment down below? Or if you're using something similar, I'd love to know what you're using that works for everything. That central hub. I need that. Because staying organized in this chaotic time in life, whether you have kids or don't have kids, or you've got dogs, or maybe you just have a super busy business. I mean, staying organized, especially going into the holiday season that we're just about to go into, it just gets nuttier. So I'd love to know what you're using to stay on track because I think we all have good intentions, but when you drop the ball, I mean, that doesn't look good professionally, personally. You know, you're, I always tell my kids, your word is everything. That is your integrity. That is everything. If you say you're going to be somewhere, be there. Don't be the mom who shows up to the party after the fact, right? Like have that integrity that your word means something. And if you're showing up late all the time, it doesn't fly. It doesn't fly. Um, I would love to know on a busy day like today, Corinne, because we're going back to back. It's one of those weeks, I think, that we're just in back-to-back meetings. I know anyone in the mortgage and real estate world can relate to that. Um, how do you keep it all together? Corinne, tell me, how do you keep it all together?
A loaded question. Um, to bite off of a mantra of Dave Hollins, our president and one of our lending leadership, side podcast or the Mortgage Pro podcast. A good solid morning routine is something that I rely on. I'm really doing some of the same steps every single morning. Admittedly, sometimes it gets out of whack or it gets twisted or shifted around. If somebody in my household is off, it can affect others and that routine. But trying to stick to a good, solid morning routine really gets me on the right path and right note. And I think it really also helps you mentally. Like when you're mentally getting ready to dive into the workday and attack your calendar of the workday, you feel good. You feel ready to go. And I've been in spaces where it hasn't worked out and I've been the other way around and I'm like, "Oh, no, I can't start a day like this. I've got to start a day in the right headspace." So, a solid morning routine is something that I rely on. I know that that looks different for every single individual. Many times it includes, organization, getting yourself ready, coffee, helping family members, exercise, mental reading, or some type of a meditation process that works for you that just gets you stabilized in the morning. So it can be any of those components that fit you, but sticking to it consistently, which is something we always talk about is consistency and so many different things on this podcast is really important. And then I'm always looking ahead. I am a prepare person. That is one of my tools. So I like to see a week. I like to take a look on a Sunday night or a Monday a week ahead. It doesn't mean I'm memorizing what's happening on Thursday or Friday. It's not for that reason. It's if there's a larger meeting, presentation, discussion I have coming up, what do I need to time block ahead to prepare for that meeting so that I'm valuable to
Mhm.
the other people that I'm in the room with, right? So I prepare lightly for a week ahead. And then I'm also looking at day to day ahead as well, so that I can also time block, very important, time to myself in between. How are you getting anything done if you're, going to coffee meetings the entire day, or if you're on the phone the entire day? You need those downtimes to work on those follow ups, notes, projects or deliverables, anything that you might be promising, maybe a real estate partner, a presentation that you need to prepare for, or a flyer that you need. Those moments are important, that they're blocked in between those sales calls and sales times, right? So that's kind of, preparation, good
Yeah.
morning routine. Um, it is all a part of, I guess, my long-winded now answer to your question, Rach.
No, that's it's a great answer, and it's honest, and some days we're really on it, and then we have to give ourselves grace when we fall off of that. I heard a really great, not quote, but just way of thinking about things, and I might mess it up a little bit here, but there's a major difference between motivation and discipline. Motivation is what you feel. Oh, like, I don't feel like going to the gym, or like, I'm really motivated to go to the gym, or I'm really motivated to not cheat on my calendar. Motivation comes with feelings, but discipline, those are our non-negotiables. Those are the things that we do rain or shine. It's not a matter of feeling, it's a matter of, like I said, the non-negotiable, that we do this regardless. And to get into that discipline mindset, that is really difficult to do. If it were easy, everyone would be doing it. Everyone would be a top producer in the best shape of their lives, be,
Mhm.
balanced in all areas. So
Sure.
again, I keep coming back to grace. We have to give ourselves grace when we fall short. But I think that is the ultimate goal, to have that discipline in the areas that are important to you. And that just keeps rattling around in my mind this week. I read that and it was so simple, but I've been beating myself up a little bit about, you know, we're sitting a lot during the day, and I've been putting blocks in my calendar to get up during the day and go for a walk, take the dog for a walk, or do certain things, and I'm letting other things get in the way, and I'm cheating on myself. I'm cheating on my calendar, and in turn cheating on myself. And so I think I need to go back to that old tried and true, putting sticky notes all over my laptop and in front of me here on the wall, to just remind myself of those non-negotiables, that things that I am not gonna cheat on myself with. I'd really be curious to hear if other people are doing that. So if you're doing that, put that we've got lots of call outs today. Put that in the chat. We need your help. This is about us. We need your help here. We can all help each other. But yeah, I don't know if have you ever thought about it in that context?
I have, it's a tie off of what you're saying, giving yourself grace, but then, also the word discipline is important. But sometimes I was actually, it was a great thought that I got from this business book that I read, the Inner Excellence book, which I had talked about at our previous sales rally. It reminds me of a bit out of that I kind of stuck onto a little bit. When something doesn't work out, when you're trying to be disciplined and something doesn't work out with the routine you have planned, don't let that mentally get you off or frustrate you. That's just what the day was meant to be. And if you keep telling yourself that, like, oh, that's what this day was meant for. This morning was meant to be different. I was meant to be on a slightly different path than what I had set out for this morning, because all these hiccups and things happen. Life happens, right?
Sure.
And the kid is sick. Something's wrong with the dog. Your spouse needs you because they have to run in an earlier meeting, or something is needed in that direction. Um, that is what that morning was meant to be. And you just adjust accordingly. You don't let it throw you off or get you out of your disciplined approach. The other thing that I think is really important with all of what we're discussing is doing our best to be present. That's a lot of, and it really feels like it's not as easy as you may think it is. If you're kind of referencing how many times a day you're checking your phone in the middle of the meeting, I do it a lot. I need to work on it. I check on my phone for a second. Somebody else is handling this portion of the meeting. Let me zone out for a second. Doing the best you can to be present in the situation you're in does, I think, make you feel more balanced and healthy with everything that you're doing, surrounding it. I don't know if I said that well,
No,
but
you did, and I think that is a great reminder, especially, again, we're in the mortgage space, so we're gonna keep relating it back to our realtors and, loan officers and really any referral partner. I've been on the receive uh, I've been on the receiving end of that where someone is kind of checked out and you've taken a long time to prepare something and they're just kind of on another path, they're looking down, and it's hard enough to keep someone's attention on a Zoom call or a Teams call. But when someone's looking down and it rattles you a little bit. It takes a minute to like you get in your own head. Are they paying attention? Do they care about this? Then in person, that's even worse. If you're looking down at your phone while you're talking to a realtor, if you're a loan officer, that's signaling to that person that you really just don't care. You really care more about what's in your hand and what's on your phone than you do about that relationship. And we are in the relationship service business. Yes, we're creating mortgages and we're in the financial aspect of that, but first and foremost, we are in the relationship building business. And I think that is a huge reminder. Be present. It's hard. You're right. It is very hard.
it is hard with all the distractions. There's moments even, even after work where I'm still finishing up something for work, but I need to be moving into something personal, right? Block off, I'm now moving into something personal. The computer needs to be shut. The phone is set aside for a minute. This is my blocked personal time for whatever reason. And I think you're going to get into that or you had that on the agenda, Rachel, but
I did. Yeah,
this
we
all
can
stuff
dive
all
into
kind of
it.
ties in. It all kind of ties in together, right?
Yeah, because it is all about that juggle. And I think you and I we seem to live these parallel lives. Our kids are around the same ages. We've been both married about the same amount of time. We're around the same age. We live in the same general area. And I think really any professional can probably relate to this, but moms specifically, when your kids get home from school, there is a chaos that ensues. And instead of both of us were falling into this category of just getting frustrated with children, then dogs barking, then all of a sudden there's all these kids in your house and there's no Wi-Fi because they're taking all the wireless service. Like put a time block on your calendar for the time that the kids get home from school for half an hour so you can be present with them and you have no meetings. So it's not like, shh, I can't talk right now, and by just doing that simple thing, it's really helped me. It's still something I'm working through, but I'm finding myself getting less frustrated. I hope you're feeling the same way.
Well, I've heard the pain of many working, female professionals say, "I'm either feel like I'm half-assing at work or I'm half-assing at home," right? I've heard that so many times, and I think what you're saying, Rachel, helps to aid the pain of that a bit is the time blocks, the time chunks, the schedule are really so that you are looking at whether it's your calendar or noting or memorizing the times of day that are specifically for you to be dedicated and present at work and specifically for you to be dedicated at home. And that is what, again, right now, I feel like our feature today is a little bit more targeted for our female loan officers and female real estate agents. This can apply to males and men too, working dads, all the things. But it's just something that I feel like it's an open conversation between female leaders, right? It's something that gets talked about. How do we do it? How do you have it all? Is there a way to have it all? I don't know, but just strategies to make it work to the best everybody can each week.
Yeah, and I think it is those boundaries. If you have no boundaries, then people are going to take your time left and right.
Mhm.
And it's not a negative thing necessarily to them. They're not trying to suck the life out of you, but if you've open time on your calendar and
They
people meet
want
them,
yeah.
then they're going to book time with you. So it's our job to set those boundaries for ourselves, and maybe we don't even know what we want those boundaries to be, but starting by again, what are those non-negotiables? What are those areas of contention? What are those bewitching hours? you know? Maybe it's in the morning when you're getting your kids off to school, or maybe it's when they get home from school, or maybe it's a little bit later at they've got a game that you don't wanna miss. Block that time out so that you're not angry with the people you work with or angry with yourself that you're missing out on things. Um, and I guess that is some of the benefits of working from home, but I think it works whether you're, you're driving all day, whether you're, in an office, making that time and setting those boundaries is huge. Ren, I want to talk about creative energy versus burnout energy because I think that's a real thing. I think it goes hand in hand with what we've been talking about. And the difference between creating from inspiration and creating from exhaustion,
Hmm.
making sure that you reignite that spark when you do feel drained and maybe not even getting to that point of feeling drained. Like we always have demands that are going to be put on us. There's especially in our position, we're dealing with a lot of people and serving a lot of people. Any kind of sales position, you're having to serve a lot of people. How do you not get to a point where you are absolutely drained, but still having to give, right? You making sure that you're pouring into other people, but how do you make sure that you are being poured into, I guess is the question.
I kind of felt like I knew where you were going with that until the end, but I one thought that came to my mind, what I find challenging, and again, this varies from profession to profession, but you can find different ways in which it applies to different things that are important about your career during your day, right? So, for us personally, being in a marketing, leading marketing department, um, I find it difficult sometimes to be in a highly creative session where maybe we're analyzing brand voice and brand, recognition like we did in that meeting earlier this week, Rachel, and we're being creative and looking at graphics and art, and then jumping into a CRM, data meeting where we're looking at data and how to organize it in the new CRM and implementation hiccups and obstacles. It's
Sure.
one is kind of putting me into a more technical and tactical space of how do we get this larger project done efficiently, right? To make the most amount of our loan officers happy with how this system is set up. The other is putting me in this total creative space where I'm trying to, get outside the box, come up with different ideas. Um, I think it's again, it's not to beat a dead horse, but it's kind of figuring out, your week and how to take spaces and breaks in between. I need breaks from being on stage right now. You and I are on stage. Um, I need breaks from being on stage to recharge, to get back on stage, right?
Hmm.
So, couple different pieces there that might be helpful. And it's kind of sectioning meetings like that. So I know if I'm jumping around like that, maybe there's space in between to reset, kind of like the sorbet of the dinner, right? You have to reset before the next item comes out to eat, right? Well, you have to reset your brain when you're moving from a meeting to meeting scenario like that, in which you might be looked at to bring a different level of value, right? For you guys, it might be you're on customer meetings, then you're working with your back room, you're working with your operations department, and then you're out at a coffee appointment with a realtor and you're on. Maybe it's different headspaces there. And that would be a way to kind of shift it into loan officer real estate world of, how you execute and deal with that. I think there has to be time blocks in between to reset personally. But again, I want to hear what you guys think. What are your approaches? What are your ideas? Because we all learn from each other, right, Rach?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think recognizing when you need that proverbial sorbet to cleanse your your
Survive.
palate. I think that's really smart, and just recognizing when you need a rest, because that burnout energy, like, that is a really hard place to recover from. If every Friday you are just beaten down and you are just dead and you need to sleep the weekend and you need to take the weekend to just recover, then we're not giving our families the best part of us. You're not
Mm,
taking that weekend for enjoyment for yourself. So not getting to that point to begin with. Some other creative ways that, I think for me, it's through music, even not even I mean, I love to play music, like singing and writing and having that creative outlet, but even just being in the car by myself and listening to the music I want to listen to is such a moment of taking that breath. That's huge. Getting out and taking a walk, journaling, anything that you can do to just kind of take that brain break. Remember, our kids were
Brain break, I like
little
that,
during
yeah.
COVID, right? But I remember when they were learning online, the teacher would put in brain breaks, and I think as adults, we need that too.
We do. I like a lot of those strategies and ideas.
Yeah. Well, as we wrap up, I just wanted to kind of get into the idea of gratitude and grace because I think that is something that can't be overlooked. Making sure that you're having gratitude throughout your day and giving yourself grace for those moments that you do fall short. And giving that gratitude and grace to other people too, extending that not just to yourself, but extending that outwardly will help your outlook as well. And especially as we go into the chaos and the joy of the holiday season. Well, my friend, I'm grateful for you and the way that we work together and just everything that you bring to the table as a leader. I feel like, it's all about iron sharpens iron and the people that you are around. You are the sum of the people that you spend the most time with. So I'm glad to say that you are probably one of the people that I spend the most time with, but not even in the same room.
We have
Crazy.
we have a lot of fun. We have a lot of fun, people. Rach and Ren have a lot of fun. Hey guys, we appreciate it. Listen, we want to hear your comments, your thoughts on today's episode, any ideas that you have off of any topic or subject that we get on. Please like, follow, subscribe, and share. And we can't wait to see you on the next Creative Brief Blending Leadership.